hey, hey, fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast, and welcome to the August Roundtable. My name's Gary.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Maria.
I'm Harry.
And I'm Adam.
And Adam's back! Yay!
Gary, you've really whipped them into shape since I was last here. That was pretty smooth.
That wasn't too bad, was it? That was good.
No awkward pauses.
No, everyone knew exactly their job. Good. Have you missed hearing our intro, bud?
I have, actually. Yeah, I was thinking when that kicked in. Yes, that's good to hear.
Yes.
Excellent.
So, welcome, our Big Blue Box listener, to the Roundtable. This is August, just about. Once again, we're right up at the end of the month. But that's all good, though. That's all good. And coming up on this month's Roundtable, we're going to have a bit of a catch-up. We're going to chat amongst ourselves around what we've been up to, Doctor Who-wise, and some little news nuggets that have been kicking around in the news in the run-up to the specials that are landing in what will be round the corner, it feels like, because not the case for Adam, I don't think, but here in the UK, you can definitely tell the nights are getting a wee bit darker, a bit quicker. Just a bit. The days are drawing in, it's getting a little bit cooler. Autumn's round the corner. And then before we know it, November's going to land and we're into the specials. The 60th specials are upon us. It's nearly time. Adam, you'll be back actually, mate, won't you? Because we'll be reviewing those.
I will be back. Yes, I shall be back at the beginning of November. And it seems to be coming around really quick. I don't know. It felt like it was so far away, November, and then suddenly it's as if almost like we've jumped forward, and it's like it does feel like it's creeping up on us now, which I'm really excited about. I'm starting to feel that buzz. I know a lot of people are saying that the promotion's been a bit lack and stuff, and that's something we could probably do a whole podcast on. But I feel like in the next few weeks, things are going to start ramping up very nicely. And yeah, I'll be back in November just in time, so I won't have to watch it on Disney Plus over here in the US. I'll be able to watch it on the good old BBC.
The BBC.
Yeah.
Yes.
The only problem is, if I miss it. I have no internet back in the UK. I don't have catch-up TV or iPlayer. I will be bleeped. I don't know how I'll watch it. So I'm going to have to make sure I'm there to watch it live.
That'll be all right, dude.
Yeah.
You'll figure that out. And you guys don't worry, because I've got a plan to do a whole round table with you guys to cover just the specials anyway. So we'll have a big old deep dive review and chat about those. Anyway, so fear not, you'll hear these guys' opinions anyway. So Ad, glad you're doing well, bud. Welcome to jumping back on the pod. It's been a little wee while. Jordan, how are you doing, dude?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah. I think I said in the last one when I accidentally slightly may have sagged off Christopher Eccleston. I'm now on Matt Smith.
Oh, okay.
So I'm now on Matt Smith.
Can we expect a slagging off of Matt Smith anytime soon, or is this a good thing?
This was another one, because I'm only on his first series at the minute. I think I've got about 15, 20 minutes left of the Silurian one in his first series. I've actually not hated it. Again, it's not as bad as I remember it being. Because although I say that Series 5 was pretty good, but I remember I'm not a huge 11th Doctor fan. But he's actually not as bad as I remember.
Okay. Is that... what's that? Hungry Earth, is it? Is it Hungry Earth?
Yeah, I think I'm on the second
Cold Blood.
one. I think it's like Cold Blood. That's it.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not as bad as I remember it being.
As a huge 11th Doctor fan, Jordan, can I ask, is it him that you don't like, or his stories, or both? Because he's one of my favourite Doctors.
I don't know. I remember the stories being not great. I think is a lot of it. As it went on, I think sort of Moffat kind of lost it a little bit when he was trying to juggle Sherlock and everything, and then Doctor Who unfortunately ended up feeling like it came last. But yeah, so there's a little bit about the 11th Doctor I'm not really a huge fan of, but he's not bothering me as much as I remember. being bothered. So
Okay.
Well, that's good. That's good.
we're making progress. It's fine.
Well, fortunately, I think there's still some bangers to come from Matt's era, right? So
Yeah, I remember there being some good ones. But I remember sort of series 6 was sort of like, ugh, God, series 6.
don't go down.
And it's,
Let's keep it going. Keep it positive,
So
dude.
I'm hoping that one is better than I remember it being.
It's not.
That's,
Spoiler alert, it's not.
that's just it. No,
it,
it's not. Mate.
it has
No.
its moments.
The one I'm dreading is it Night Terrors where they're in the doll's house and they got
Oh,
that
yeah.
really
Yeah.
bad kid that's in it. That's the one I'm dreading the most from series 6.
Because you don't
I don't
like it
think
or you're
I've watched
scared of
that
it.
since we reviewed it, actually. Night Terrors.
No,
I
same.
don't think I've seen it since it came out because it's one I always skip.
Because
If I'm watching something, I'll just be, I didn't like that one, I'll skip it.
because you didn't like it or because it's scary.
Because I didn't like it. It was just rubbish. But
Sorry, Matt. Just like Chris, I know you're a keen listener, but don't worry, we respect you, Matt. It's all good. Maria, how are you doing?
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Sorry, frog in the throat there. You're right about these autumn days. It is definitely getting colder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been good since the last round table. I've been continuing my classic Who watch. Little bit slow going at the moment. Lots
that
of
the
kind
Ark?
of things.
Yeah.
It was the Ark, and we've got a new TARDIS team. So Dodo, Stephen, and the Doctor, and it's a bit of a strange one, really. I seem to remember actually liking it more when I watched it before than I probably did this time, and I'm not quite sure why. But I still enjoy it. It's still a good story. There's bits of it that are really interesting. I mean, they kind of stretch it out really probably for 4 episodes, but it's an interesting one. It's the first full story with Dodo, and I've kind of noticed that the first Doctor seems to get quite irritated with her. And I think Stephen is a bit irritated with her as well. She takes a bit of getting used to really as a character. I don't think she's very well kind of fleshed out at the moment. So I know she's got better stories coming along. I think she's a bit better in the Gunfighters. But I'm still enjoying watching William Hartnell, still enjoying doing the rewatch. And I'm kind of thinking that William Hartnell's obviously getting to the end of his run now, but he seems to have less fluffs than he did before. I didn't notice any fluffs in this one because normally, he'll fluff a line, but I didn't actually notice anything. It wasn't a bad story. So, yeah, I'm still continuing, almost there with William Hartnell. Got a few more stories to go, but we're getting through them now. And that's all I've really done Doctor Who-wise, although saying that, I did go to the Riverside Studios and they did put on an event recently where they showed the 2 remaining episodes of the Moon Base, which, those events are actually a lot of fun to go to, and I really enjoy going down to that part of London now. So they've got some events coming up as well. So they're actually filling in that Doctor Who gap for me. That should be really chock-a-block really with our 60th anniversary. So yeah, I'm enjoying Doctor Who at the moment, whether it's going out to see it or kind of watching it indoors.
Nice, sounds good. You always do that as Omar. It's so funny. You're like, yeah, I've watched a classic episode of Doctor Who, and that's all I've done really. Oh, and I was at this event as well where I did all this stuff and I met this person, and then I also got this other thing. And yeah,
do you know what it is? I think it's what it is. It's I'm getting short-term memoryism. I don't know why. It might be old age coming up on me. I don't know, but yeah, my memory's getting worse. I have to be fair. It is definitely.
No,
So,
Rija, we're all cracking up, Maria. That's the thing. We're all getting to that age, are we, Rija? Apart from Harry. Harry's actually no, Harry and Jordan. They're spring chickens pretty much. Right. Moving on to Harry, actually. How are you doing, you old bugger, or you young bugger, should I say?
Well, Gary, this spring chicken was very proud of himself recently because I did a local Doctor Who quiz, a pub quiz, and it was specifically on 2005 to 2010 Doctor Who. So it was absolutely my sort of era of the show. So me and one of my best friends went and did that. And out of 16 teams, we came third, which I'm pretty chuffed with.
Nice.
Especially yes, absolutely. And what was even more cool, not to brag too much about it, but we were only a 2 in our team, and second and first place they were like teams of like 5, 6, and they only beat us by a couple of points. So we were nearly there. If I had known who Donna's boss was in the parallel universe in Turn Left, then we probably would have scraped it. But so that was a lot of fun.
Who was it?
Who was it?
Anybody know? Anybody here know?
I don't know now,
but I can't think what he's called.
You can probably picture him in your mind.
It's like I recognised him, like that. So it was a picture round, so they showed us a picture. Mm-hmm. I recognised the face, but I couldn't tell you like what scene in what episode or like what the name of the character was.
H.C. Clements was the. Was that the company or no?
I don't know whether Donna continued to work there in that timeline.
Yeah, she works for the photocopying.
Is it the guy from EastEnders? What's his
Lance?
name?
You're about Lance.
Lance.
Not Lance. No, this was so this was someone who had a bit role in Turn Left.
Oh, is it Mr. Patel? Wasn't it Mr. Patel?
I think so.
Yeah.
I can't remember his first name, but I know it was something like Shad. Is it Shadri Patel? Something like that.
It's funny that we're all scratching our heads on this because this was basically what the whole evening was like of this Doctor Who quiz. Like scratching our heads at obscure questions about Doctor Who that we supposedly know so well. But yes, so that was fun.
Nice.
And as well as doing that, I'm still doing my marathons. I've not actually publicly spoken about my new Who marathon that I've been doing with my partner, which has been a very slow process over the last kind of year. We've just been watching it every now and again. We are now on Matt Smith, so just like Jordan, we're on Matt Smith. What I'm getting from that era, watching it with fresh eyes, is Matt Smith is absolutely brilliant. Like, he's an absolute gift to Doctor Who, but the writing is just there is a very noticeable dip in quality after Russell T Davies. So I feel like I've had a lot of rose tintedness when I've been thinking back on the Matt Smith era, because I've been thinking, it's not that bad, but I've been watching it thinking this is actually poorly written in a lot of places. But yeah, I don't want to rant too much about that. I'm still enjoying it. I still watch it over a lot of other television, but it's weird. Not as good as I remember it being, I'm afraid.
Oh dear. Matt, I'm so sorry, bud. I am sorry, mate. I personally think you're all right. I think you're pretty sweet, but yeah.
I mean, Matt is very dope. He's a very nice guy. So far as I can tell, I only met him briefly at Comic-Con, but
it's too late, Harry. It's too late.
Too late, mate. Yeah.
Oh no, I've dug the hole. Oh dear.
That's good. Congratulations on the quiz result, though. That's very cool.
Thank you very much. I felt very proud. I felt like I was representing Big Blue Box podcast on that night.
Nice. I bet your mate was like, "Oh, dude, come down this pub quiz. What's the subject? Doctor Who." I'm not sure, mate. Well, it's only 2005 to 2010. Watch this. Just watch this. Here we go. Bring them on.
Well, I mean,
first question.
He's just as obsessed with it as I am. So we were both really up for it. But yeah, to be honest, I'd definitely do something like that again in the future. Did they? Am I imagining this, or was there a thing like with the BFI screenings, like called the Quiz of Rassilon or something?
It was, yeah,
something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a little pub. It wasn't close to the BFI. I think it was out in Bethnal Green somewhere near that area. This really cool little pub. Well, I think I only went to one of them. You went to a few, didn't you, Adam?
Yeah, I went to a couple of them. Yeah, they did. after a while they stopped doing it in the pub, and they did start doing it after the BFI screenings. I don't know whether they still do that, but I think the last BFI screening they had the quiz afterwards, but I'm not 100% sure because they do it in the bar area now. In the BFI, and a lot of people in the bar just haven't got a clue what's going on. There's just this random Doctor Who.
I think they did it there when me and Maria went.
Oh, what one was that, Jordan?
I think the last one I remember was the Dalek movies, the Cushing movies.
Yeah.
And I seem to remember we were out there having a bevy, and they were doing the quiz. And I think me and Maria got more questions right than the people that were actually doing it.
Well, of course. As long as there were no questions about Donna Noble's boss in Turn Left. Because otherwise we'd just be like we did a few moments ago. We just all looked like cross-eyed. Like, huh?
I even Googled it and I couldn't find it. So it was obviously, don't beat yourself up, Harry. It was obviously quite a difficult...
I think I know what scene you mean
probably
as
why
well.
they chose it.
It's like open office planned thing. And he's like kicking off at her a little bit, and I can picture the scene. I just can't get the guy's name. You're probably right, Maria. Whoever you said.
I think his name was. I'm thinking about it. I think it was something Chowdhury. I'm sure Sylvia said it was Mr. Chowdhury, something like that. Anyway, not Patel.
We can only hope he's got a big.
Ignore Patel.
We can only hope he's got a bigger part in the upcoming 60th as the alternative universe boss.
Right. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Here we go. TARDIS.fandom.com. Turn left.
Gary's got it.
We can't move on from this bit now without knowing who it is.
Correct. Okay, so it is in fact Jival Chowdhury. Mr. Chowdhury, you're right, Maria.
There we are. We needed Maria there at the quiz so that we could have scraped by and won a Doctor Who colouring book or something. They were giving away prizes. They were giving away like Doctor Who colouring books, things like that. We just took a £20 bar tab because I've already got the colouring book. But yeah, anyway.
Good. So
I have won the quiz at work, so I have done quizzes at work, so I might be good for certain things, but yeah, I would have been good on your team.
Yeah, Harry.
Definitely, Harry.
So says here, Donna has been fired from her job. Chowdhury tries to tell her that he has to lay people off because half of his contracts are on the other side of the river. Even though it has been several months since the Rachnos attack, the Thames is still closed off. So that's the deal.
That's some excellent piece of Doctor Who lore right there.
There you go. Good episode that though. Turn left.
It's cracking. Good. It's a bit sad. It's a bit depressing, but it's good.
It's all right. Yeah. Anyway, Matt, we're going to move on now, dude. We do like your stuff, and we're going to talk about some news in the run-up to obviously all the news, apart from the little bits that land here and there, like the sonic screwdriver is out of stock still, and it will probably come into stock November, coincidentally, when the new stuff lands. Or it could be something like there's a new story from Big Finish. That's the extent of the news outside of the 60th run. But let's speak about a couple of nuggets here then. I want to run past you guys. The first one is this fan theory that's now been confirmed by the Beeb. So there was a fan theory knocking around about, do you know the new character that's going to be in the specials called Rose?
Mm-hmm.
Fan theory suggested that she was Donna's daughter, but people didn't know exactly what her deal was. So they said, it's probably Donna's daughter, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, over on the Instagram account for the official BBC Doctor Who, they say, wishing a happy birthday to Yazdamand, whose character Rose is the daughter of companion Donna Noble, played by Catherine Tate, and Sean Temple, played by Carl Collins. Do you remember Sean? Do you remember Sean from, whoever she was with before?
That is a character's name that I do remember.
Yes. Yeah. So it goes on to say, When we last saw Donna, the Doctor had to wipe her memory. So the question is, what happens when Rose meets one of her mum's oldest friends? It's a mystery for now, but what we do know is that just like her mother, Rose stumbles across something alien, and from that point, her seemingly ordinary life is never quite the same. So there we go, a companion fresh into the show, but Donna's daughter. What say you guys on this then?
I guess we kind of assumed it was because, I don't know. It didn't feel like a big surprise when they announced that, but...
As far as fan theories go, it wasn't really out there because the dots weren't that difficult to join. But
it's a bit like if they confirmed that the Celestial Toymaker is the Toymaker, we're going to be like, yeah, we kind of figured that. So we kind of wanted to, I don't know, maybe not be the Celestial Toymaker. So we're like, oh my God, you know, but I don't know. It didn't, I didn't sort of fall off my chair when they sort of confirmed it.
Yeah.
But how it plays into it, I don't know, mate. I like the fact that I can't figure out this puzzle that Russell's like made and put together. Do you know what I mean? It's like we've got little nuggets, but we still can't quite work out, you know, how the Doctor looks like that, why Donna's back. She better not die. That's all I'm going to say.
Who, Donna?
Like her brain better not, her brain better not burn up. Otherwise, me and Russell, we're done. Because I love Donna, and her exit was heartbreaking, and I can't take any more. So, I'm just intrigued to see how it works out when she remembers who the Doctor is, or if she remembers, and
Russell,
and how that plays into it.
Yeah, Russell, I know you listen as well, and you have been forewarned by Adam. Woe betide any deaths occurring, especially Donna Noble.
Well, the last time I saw Russell was at the BFI bar. So if he wants me to get the next round, then he just better not kill off Donna Noble.
I can imagine Adam being like that. Remember that viral clip of that guy that was at a football match, absolutely slammed at this football match. You want some? You want some? Because I'll give it you. And Russell's just like, what's going on?
I think it's just because I keep seeing that people like the fan theory of like Shooter's Doctor turning up at a church. He's got this coat on that looks almost identical to Donna's. He goes to a grave. I don't know. Oh. There's a lot of things connecting, and obviously the Donna is not supposed to be able to remember the Doctor, otherwise her brain will fry, right? So I'm thinking, I just want to see how Russell is going to write around like what he did before, if you know what I mean. I am very intrigued by that, like what his master plan is this time round, you know.
Yeah, same. Yeah, and we have to remember also that there is the possibility still that this could be that the whole reason why we're seeing David Tennant back as another Doctor, but the same Doctor, if that makes sense, is that this could be an alternate universe somewhere. This could be a universe where it's a different Donna. It could be a completely different thing, and then back in our universe, Donna's still the same. Doesn't recognize anything, doesn't meet the Doctor, blah blah blah. This is a different thing, so it will be interesting to see how that pans out. But we would have never have got this. I think the interesting point here with this story is that we would have never have got this confirmation in Chibnall's era. He would have never put out a tweet to confirm any bit of news or to give an update on characters, anything like this. And it goes back to what I think you were saying this, Adam, actually, when I saw you last in London a few weeks back, where it feels like now Russell is back behind the steering wheel. All the cogs are now turning as they should do. So we're getting like teasers and snippets. We're getting the social media accounts who are putting out bits of content and, engaging with fans and stuff like that. So I think that's a good thing to have these little nuggets, because it's not really, I think because it's not a big surprise, because of that, it's not a massive spoiler or anything like that. So, why not put that out and get the fans talking about the stuff in exactly the same way that we are now? So I think it's cool. And we would never have got this with old Chib Bag. So it's good.
No, and just to quickly follow up on that, I think that one of the things I am liking what I was saying to you down the pub in London was do feel like since RTD come back, the show feels more in sync with stuff that had sort of drifted. So Doctor Who magazine are now getting brand new promotional images to put on the cover of the Doctor, which sounds like a simple thing, but when they were getting attacked before for not having Jodie on the cover, Doctor Who magazine was saying, well, look, we don't have any new images to use, like we're not being sent them, so it feels like Russell is back sort of overseeing things that he likes, like Doctor Who magazine. The merchandise is back in sync with the show. Like the day the Sonic was unveiled, the toy was announced the next day. So he's inviting, like the toy companies once a month down to Cardiff to see what's coming up so that they can make the stuff, so they can, here's the pictures for your books. The annual was announced, I think, yesterday with brand new photos. So that's already planned. It just feels like things are back in sync now that Russell's back in charge. He's sort of, I don't know, I sort of see him like he just hovers over the whole of Doctor Who, just sort of, picking that, yes, we need to get this, like he's got a big map in front of him of all these things that he's just moving into place. And that feels good to me. Like, I know there's been criticism about promotion to the 60th, but I think, like I said to you, it's been decent. I mean, we all want a bit more, but I feel like we've had a lot better than we've had recently, if that makes sense. And I don't really want to go down the slagging Jim route, but it just feels like it feels a lot more in sync. That's the best way I can put it with the show. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. So maybe you won't get a slap then, Russell, off Adam. So fear not. Still go to the BFI. It's all good, mate. It's all good. So if you guys don't have any other thoughts on that, Jordan, Maria or Harry, move on to the next story.
I just wanted to throw something in which I thought was quite interesting. So the news of Rose being Donna's daughter, obviously that's not really a surprise to any of us, but reading Doctor Who magazine, if you read it quite closely, sometimes you get like little clues about things which like may or may not be happening. So like I think it was in the production diary that Scott Hancock, if I'm getting his name right, wrote. I skimmed through it, and he said that Yasmin Finney finished her last day on Doctor Who because they recently just finished filming series 14. So, and that's interesting because it's like, oh, wasn't she just in the 60th specials? She's actually in series 14, unless they did some pickup shots for the specials. So it's kind of like sort of confirming, but sort of not confirming at the same time. It's like, is she going to have a bigger role as that character, like going forward into Ncuti series? Who knows? I think that's really interesting. Also, they pretty much confirmed that K9's coming back in one of the recent issues as well.
Did they? I must have missed that.
Well, they said there was a picture of K9 in Scott Hancock's diary, and he said there was a familiar like character on set. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was basically hinting that K9 was back, or like K9 was just on the set. Again, cleverly, like not really saying one way or the other, but just sort of, saying maybe, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah. In particular, Scott Hancock, his column in Doctor Who magazine is really interesting, like for potential things that may or may not be happening in the future series of Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Harry, do you think that could mean we could finally be getting K9 Timequake released in cinemas?
Oh, my word.
Could it be?
I've been waiting years.
I've
been waiting years and years.
What happened to that? Anyway, let's not go down that road, but yeah.
They're probably still making it. It's like a James Cameron Avatar thing. They want to make it as technically impressive as possible, of course.
Yeah.
What was Timequake then? Was that was that the
Do you remember, Gary? I think it was like 2017. It was like K9 Timequake coming to cinemas soon.
It was going to have like Omega or something in it, wouldn't it? It was going to be the villain.
Oh, yes, of course.
If I remember rightly.
You remember that?
Yeah, it wasn't K9. Didn't he have a snazzy redesign? A little bit
it was,
as well?
It was something to do with the Australian series, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
and he was going to have that, and then that was going to get destroyed or something.
It was such an oddity, that series. Like, was it even canon? Like, was it even connected?
I don't know. I remember many years ago on like Disney XD or something it used to be on, but I don't. Over here we sort of got like the odd episode. It was never, so I've never seen it in order the whole way through. I remember they used to have like little cameos. I think they had like the Axons. They had like gold faces and sort of things. So that there were sort of things, but I think it was mainly like its own.
It wasn't called
its own thing.
It wasn't called K9 Down Under, was it? It wasn't called that, was it?
I think they ditched the Down Under bit. I think it was just called K9.
Right, right.
I'd have probably watched it if it was Down Under, K9 Down Under.
I'm quite intrigued to see it actually now.
Oh, yeah.
About it.
I mean, admittedly, K9 is a very cool character. We all. Oh, here we go. Harry's got evidence.
What's he got?
Here we go.
No, I just wanted to check if I got the guy's name right. It was an intrusive thought. Scott Hancock. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah.
This is a future pub quiz primer. Yeah, good. Right. Let's put K9 to bed. Not literally. Move on to the next story, which is those of you that can travel down south. I don't even know what accent is this. If you can get down to Weston-super-Mare, which is in North Somerset, apparently,
There you go.
then you can check out Adventures in Time and Space, 60 Years of Doctor Who Art, which is a brand new 60th anniversary exhibition, which will showcase a ton of physical and digital art from across the show's entire history, including from Ncuti Gatwa's upcoming tenure as the Doctor. This is great. I love this. Fans can expect to see book covers, VHS video covers, annuals, comics, graphic novels, digital art, and a painting that debuted within the show itself. Some of it is expected to be very rare, as the organisers have sourced art from collectors in fandom. Yes, and the exhibition will unfold like the pages of a well-worn book, said Becky Walsh, who is the director of the museum. And she promises it's a heartwarming journey for Whovians of all generations. So, Maria, are you off down to Somerset anytime soon to check out this new exhibition?
I would love to go down to Somerset. How many hours is it going to take me to get down
9,
there? Tell me.
probably.
Well, it's 2 hours. It's 2 hours for me, and I live closest. So,
Oh yeah, but Jordan's. We found this out recently that Jordan basically lives in a
not
silo.
even on the map most of the time.
Jordan has his own island, pretty much.
So if it's 2 hours for me to get there, I dread to think how long it would be for you, Maria.
It's probably 4-ish hours from London. You're in London, aren't you, Maria?
Yeah, North London.
North London, where the broadband's awful. So this sounds actually pretty good. Do you know what this reminds me of, guys? This reminds me of the wee little museum that's in the Who shop in London, because that has all of this type of stuff in it. I think the Who shop, I think it has a lot of props as well, but it also has like Adam and I used to describe it as like an Aladdin's cave of very, very cool Doctor Who stuff and collectibles and artwork and posters and t-shirts and all sorts. So it reminds me of that in a little wee way. But my only thing with this, and it does sound great, don't get me wrong, it sounds very cool, but it just sounds like a bloody trek to get there. Somerset is not. It's not, unless of course you're listening to this and you live in Somerset, then crack on, round the corner, go for a walk, go and have a cup of tea, Costa probably, and then get round there, have a look. But for me up in the Midlands, where are you, Harry?
Also the Midlands.
Yeah, Maria's in London. Adam's in bloody America. How's Adam going to get there?
It's a bit far. It's a bit too far for me to get there from Texas. But
does it sound cool to anybody though? If you were able to get to it, does it sound cool? Would you guys go?
If it weren't so far, I'd probably like to check it out. But if I were going to make that journey to the West Country, I'd probably just prioritise the Wallace and Gromit escape room in Bristol, if I'm honest. Yeah.
That sounds cool, actually. Yeah. I mean,
that does sound cool.
Yeah, I mean, sensibly, if you had to travel that far anyway, you'd probably make a weekend of it, right? Or like a stay over or something. Go down to Somerset, have a look around, and then go to Bristol.
Your impressions haven't got any better.
They haven't, have they, mate? No. Anyway, I'd be tempted to go just for the VHS covers alone. Being honest, I used to love
I
those.
I was pretty tempted when I saw it, so I don't know. It depends on if I've got money.
One of you
I
lot
might.
will go, guaranteed. One of you lot will end up going.
Down to
Well,
Somerset.
Oh,
I'm just thinking my sister's garage is actually full of a box of Doctor Who VHS covers, so I could just go and have a look at my because I had nowhere to store them, so I could just go and have a look at my own covers. I think they've all rotted and got full of mould, but
you missed. This is an opportunity, mate, that you've missed out on for a couple of years now.
Yes,
you could very, very easily open up your own exhibition.
Anyone in my sister's garage, she'd be delighted.
Who are these people coming into the garage? Don't worry, they'll be gone soon.
They're here to see VHS covers. Leave them alone.
If anyone's watched any of Adam's, I'd probably say his older videos now on his YouTube channel, the Geeks Handbag, some of this just incredible. Like the amount of stuff, the amount of Doctor Who stuff that Adam has got, plus the stuff that's now overtaken his partner's office, plus the stuff in his sister's garage. That's an exhibition waiting to happen, mate.
Do you know, you're not wrong. I'm going to get on it as soon as I get back in the UK.
Yeah. Put some tea and muffins out.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Some jammy Dodgers, a few custard creams.
We'll all be there, mate, because you're kind of central, aren't you? Like Buckingham. Is it Buckinghamshire?
Yeah, well, not far. Yeah.
Something like,
Oxfordshire.
Oxfordshire, yeah. Very nice.
Can I mention a book launch that is coming up in November? It's not local to me, but it's in Manchester, and it's somebody's going to be close to Manchester, aren't they? Somebody. And it's a book launch of a new book about David Whittaker, who was one of the first story editors and also wrote some stories. The book is written by, is it Simon Guerrier? Is that how you say it? He's done loads of Doctor Who books and audio plays. I know he's written for, I'm sure he's written for Big Finish as well. And he's done his own sci-fi stuff as well that I've listened to on Radio 4. But there is a book launch. So it's a new book about David Whittaker. It's on the 9th of November at the Portico Library in Mosley Street in Manchester. And it's £5 to go. And Simon's going to be interviewed about the book, and it will be launching on that day. That actually sounds like quite a good book, actually, because David Whittaker's one of my favourite story writers for Doctor Who. I think he's done some really fantastic stories. So, just a plug for that one, really.
Oh, that sounds rather cool. Yeah. And when's that? When's that? Sorry, what date?
So that is on Thursday, the 9th of November, at the Portico Library, Mosley Street in Manchester. And I've put a link to it in the Discord server. It's in the events thread, so anyone can go and check that out. Nice,
cool. And if you're not part of the Big Blue Box Discord server yet, then you can find a link to do that on the website, which is bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. Jump in and chat Doctor Who with other Who peeps. Nice one, Maria. Cool. Anyone else got any other news? Anything they want to mention?
I don't know. Shall I go first?
Go for it, Harry.
Yeah. So I don't know whether this was mentioned on one of the recent episodes. I don't think it was, actually, but I'll just say it anyway. The illustrated Target novelization of Rose is coming out. So they did the Doctor Who and the Daleks last year, which was really cool. And they're doing another illustrated edition, a nice big hardback, just in time for Christmas, of Russell T Davies's novelization of it. And I'm really looking forward to that one. Wanted to share that. It's probably going on my Christmas list.
The Dalek one was really lovely, actually. I have to agree with you, Harry. I think so. I'm really pleased they're going to do Rose in the same style, if you like. That was a lovely book. I hope they do a few of these.
Yeah. I can see them doing it like one every year, sort of around Christmas time. I think that'll be a nice new sort of tradition.
Definitely.
Yeah, that sounds very cool.
I was just going to mention the only other merch I'd seen floating around, obviously the announcement of the Underwater Menace animation. So that was a kind of a surprise. I mean, because the animations they said they'd sort of stopped, hadn't they? We weren't sure what was going on with the Doctor animations, so it's nice to get confirmation that they are being continued and that we're going to get the Underwater Menace and that we will no longer have to watch those murky old snaps. Because it was a hard watch, the Underwater Menace with the telesnaps. I don't know if it is quite a slow story, but I think hopefully the animation will be decent and it'll make it a bit more enjoyable. But it's nice to see the animations continuing, I think. So any of you guys pre-ordered it's going to be a steelbook, I think, which are usually quite nice, and all the usual DVD, Blu-ray, that sort of thing. No VHS, sadly, but you know.
Oh, Laserdisc.
I'm kind of torn about whether I want to buy the animation. I mean, I've already got the original release of the Underwater Menace, which I think has just got the 2 episodes on it, hasn't it? And telly snaps. I'm a bit torn about buying the animation because it's a story that's already come out in some format, and they've animated it now when they probably could have done another story where there's nothing at all. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm a bit torn about it. I mean, I will go and see it, obviously, if they do the screening at the BFI, which I think is around November time. I will still go and see it, but just kind of buying it again in animation form, I'm not sure about that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's is it the same? Because it was up and down, wasn't it, for a while, whether they were going to do animations again at all because of, I don't know. Let's blame it on Chibbers. Why not blame everything else on him? So, so there was no budget for that stuff. There was no green light from him to do that. But coincidentally, now that a certain person has been back in charge for a while, the animations are starting to pick up speed again. So is it the same company that has done the last couple? Or do we know if this is a... Because if it is, I'll probably pick it up because they were pretty good.
I'm not sure who's doing this animation, to be honest. I'm wondering where the budgets come from as well, because because we were told that the animations were discontinuing or whatever. And then obviously Russell's back, Disney Plus. I think BBC America funded the animations
partly
before, so obviously they've gone. So who's funding it? I'm wondering is Disney put any money into this? I don't know, but
it'd be the old Mickey Mouse, mate, wouldn't it?
Do you think so? Do you think he's put a few quid in?
Defo.
Yeah?
Yeah, old Minnie's been chewing his ear off.
Yeah.
Like, when are we going to get these animations back? Oh, God, I'll sort it out, love.
Mickey, which one do you want? Underwater Menace, are you sure? Yeah, Mickey says that's the one he wants.
Yeah.
I just had the image of Mickey Mouse in an office, like with a suit and tie, like as
and a cigar.
As like the CEO of Disney making the executive decisions on Doctor Who animations.
Yeah, he looks over and Minnie Mouse is in a Doctor Who t-shirt watching the DVD of Underwater Menace, fuming. Yeah. He's like, oh, look,
Mickey,
Russ.
get this sorted.
Yeah, Russell, favour. I'm getting the old glockenspiel off Minnie. We need to get this sorted, mate. So, I mean, it's a good thing that the animations are coming back, for sure. And, from what I remember, the conceptually, this is a cool story. So, yes, we will check that out. Is any more news knocking around that we need to cover? I don't think so.
I'm just checking to see if the TARDIS console's been released yet, but no, because the BBC have been building up to unveiling the new TARDIS console, haven't they? Or so we thought. And I thought it was going to be today. I was like, yes, we're going to record the podcast and we're going to be talking about the new console room. But no, I've just checked Twitter. Nothing. It'll probably be the second we finish recording.
Yeah,
I was just about to say it'll be the minute we finish, and then they'll be like, "Oh, here's the new console."
Yeah, although
we'll hear Adam all the way across the ocean swearing very, very loudly.
I don't know if the leaked video that came out of it is true. I think I'll be happy because I liked the look of the leaked video we got at the console, but I don't know if that's real. So I'm looking forward to finding out.
Yeah, same. Good. Okay, no more news to smash through. Let's talk about some missing episode stuff then, because you guys were fairly keen on this in the old Discord when we were talking about this. So, other than Marco Polo, which is always the go-to, so funny. whenever we've been at the BFI or down the pub, it's like, oh, I'm missing episodes. What story do you want? Oh, well, Marco Polo's here.
Marco Polo.
Pretty much the obvious one that I'd like to see come back. And yeah, I'm not sure about the other ones. Maybe, what's the other one? Galaxy 4, perhaps? Yeah. So other than those, actually, no, we had, this goes back to, it's coincidentally, there was a Radio Times article that was out earlier this month on this very subject. And it was claimed that one of the TV archive bosses claims that there are loads of missing episodes out there. As in, like, not one of those things like, oh, you know, like when people talk about aliens, it's like, oh, there must be aliens out there. We can't be the only life in the galaxy and whatnot. It wasn't one of those where it's like, oh, there must be episodes out there. You know, what he was saying was, no, there is 100% absolutely definitely confirmed episodes out there. The problem is getting them into the BBC. I think that's the issue that they're facing, because if we think about the dudes that put together the Blu-ray box sets and whatnot, those guys are just foaming at the bit, right, to get hold of all the missing eps so they can remaster them. And because the sooner that they get them into the BBC and remastered and into the box sets, the sooner they're out there and the BBC are making money and blah, blah, blah. So they're absolutely killing to get them. And so apparently the head of TV Archive, Kaleidoscope, has said that the missing episodes are known to still exist, but the problem is that they remain in private collections. So out of the 253 episodes from the first 6 years, nearly 100 of those episodes are still lost somewhere in their original form. And due to the BBC's policy of junking archive programming, I tell you, whose idea was that? I mean, if there was anybody that you would just think you had one job, and that was to sort out some proper archiving for all the stuff. And what did you do? Instead of archiving it as you were employed to do, you just wiped them all and you just carried on as if nothing was going to happen. And no one's going to watch that in 25, 30 years, are they? Nah. What's this old rubbish? Bloody aliens walking about, tin cans rolling around with bloody plungers sticking out their face. No one's watching that in 50 years. Get rid of that. Oh, crikey.
What about this one with the giant butterfly? No, keep that one.
Yeah,
keep that one. Whatever you do, keep that one. But the rest can go.
Oh, God. Yeah. So, anyway, as a result, numerous adventures from the first and second Doctors, a lot of their stories are incomplete, or in some cases missing in their entirety. Speaking to the Radio Times, Chris Perry, that's the guy's name, who is the CEO of TV Archive Kaleidoscope, said it is very likely that more lost episodes will be recovered in the future. We know that there are missing Doctor Who episodes out there, but the owners won't return it at the moment, he said. So every year we find 50 to 70 lost programmes, some famous and internationally known names and others not so, but significant examples of regional television output, for example, Doctor Who. So what this guy is saying is, they are out there. All of these missing eps that we talk about often and we want back, they're there. So, point to you guys then. If you had missing Doctor Who episodes in your collection, if you're a private collector and you're in the loft and there was a box that said, Grandad's stuff, hands off, but you went in there anyway and you found episodes of Galaxy 4 or whatever in their entirety, would you hand them over to the BBC? Or would you say, actually, no, sentimental value, they were my granddad's, they're not leaving the house, thank you very much. You're going to, you know. So what would you guys do if you found some missing eps up in the loft?
I was just going to let the other guys speak.
Oh, yeah, go on.
I just felt like I'd spoken too much. I was like, I'll give the other guys a chance to get a word in. But I obviously I would return them, and I feel like we all would because we're Doctor Who.
I don't know, man.
Fans,
I don't know.
Which makes me no.
I don't know.
But it makes me question why anybody wouldn't. Because I'm thinking, okay, so we know collectors have got them in their hands. We know they won't return them. What's the reason for it? And I can only think maybe they're not Doctor Who fans. Like, we're assuming they are. They're probably not. They're probably just people who collect stuff. They're like, they love to collect rare things, or they love to collect TV archive material, but they're not Doctor Who fans. They couldn't give a monkeys whether we get to see it or not. They're not interested in that. They just want it for themselves. Because I'm guessing, and obviously we'll go over to you guys, I'm guessing all of us, maybe not Gary, would give would give them back, right? Because we're Doctor Who fans and we want other Doctor Who fans to share them. So, yeah.
I'm joking.
Or is there anybody here who wouldn't?
I would. I was
that
kidding.
way, though.
Yeah.
You've backtracked.
Yeah, Maria.
I've thought about this a lot because obviously missing episodes has been a fascination of mine for a long time, probably since I started probably doing a rewatch from the beginning, and then I kind of realised obviously there was all these episodes that were missing. So my kind of obsession, I suppose, about missing episodes goes back for years. I think there obviously has to be, with collectors, a particular mindset. And I think Adam's right in that their mindset is probably nothing to do with enjoying Doctor Who and kind of, wanting to preserve it for the enjoyment of other people. It is probably more around keeping something that's rare, something that nobody else has got. There probably is and they're probably thinking that they're actually saving this material, but the unfortunate thing is they're obviously never, if they're keeping it for themselves, it's probably because it becomes quite a valuable asset in itself, maybe something that they can swap for something else even more valuable, because I imagine collectors do buy things amongst themselves, and they do kind of share this material. So it could be it's just a commodity. It could just be that it's something that is part of maybe their nature, because I think collectors do have a particular mindset, and I think most normal people would probably find it and give it back to the BBC and say, there you go, it's yours, take it, do what you want, and then give it back. And actually, I think to be honest, I think saying that, I think we did have with Terry Burnett, the collector that died recently, he did actually give back a couple of episodes of Doctor Who that he had in his collection, because he wasn't a fan of the show, and he probably didn't, he wasn't that bothered about it. So, collectors do actually give up material, because I know when they found the first episode of The Crusade, the New Zealand collector, the guys that were speaking to him were very worried about whether he would actually give them the material and let them take it away, because I think originally he invited them to a screening, and they wanted to take a movie camera and just take a copy of it, because they never knew if they were going to see it again, if it would ever come out into the public. But luckily he let them take it away. The BBC made a copy and then he got it back. So if I found Doctor Who videotape or film copies, I would definitely give them back, especially if it's missing episodes, because it's for the enjoyment of more than just one person. I'm kind of amazed at what the BBC and ITV did. Obviously, I mean, it was common practice that they would actually, get rid of these things for space reasons, or, because they needed more space, or, they didn't think that those shows would be seen again. So, I understand, that was the common practice then. But yeah, I would definitely give it back if I found old episodes. I have to go up into my loft actually and have a look, because I've never been up there. So, keep your fingers crossed, and I'll definitely tell you if I find anything.
That could be a treasure trove.
That's where they all are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the loft that I've never been in.
That could be it. That could be you could have boxes full of just old episodes where you're sitting on it. I wonder if I do wonder if it's also either a status or a financial thing as well, because even if somebody's not a big fan of Doctor Who, they might be aware of just how sought after those episodes are. So they might be playing a little bit of how much money have you got? I might think about parting with it if you're going to cough up some serious Benjamins, and we'll have a chat then, probably round a Costa. We'll have a chat about it. But there's also the status thing as well. If you're a private collector, and going back to that thing again where you're not a massive Doctor Who fan, but you're certainly aware of just how valuable those things are, that might be a status thing. It might be like, I've got these missing episodes in my collection. So, in terms of that circle that you move in of like collectors of high value things and whatever, it might be a case of, that's so-and-so. He's got all of Marco Polo in his garage, but he won't give them up. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to, because I'm the man who's got them all. So I don't know.
I suppose we could actually thank them for kind of keeping them, because they could have gone to they could have been burned or put in the dump, and we would have never seen them again. So I suppose in one way you could say, it's great that they've got them, but will I ever see it in my lifetime? If I wait another 20 years, will I see those missing episodes? And for me, that's the shame of it, really. Because having missing episodes, I truly believe is cultural vandalism to have missing episodes of, TV series, because it is about a cultural history. So, to have missing stuff out there that you can't see, it is such a shame. I hope that those collectors will eventually, give those back into public hands, and we can see them, but we might have to wait a long time for it. That's all.
Yeah. Well, fear not. The guys at Kaleidoscope are on the case. Here's some stuff that will put your mind at rest. Kaleidoscope has recovered all of the British versions of Fraggle Rock.
Yay!
So, and apparently half of that is in their archive, and the other half is at the BFI National Archive. So, sweat removed from the brow, deep breath. Fraggle Rock has been saved. So if they can save Fraggle Rock, then Doctor Who's next, right? I mean, they're not too different. So,
how does the copyright thing work, Gary? I mean, people often say, well, if someone's got something, it's still owned by the BBC. Is that true? I mean, if someone's bought something but originally it belonged to the BBC, do they have any sort of claim over it? I'm guessing not.
I don't think so, because I think the only two ways that you would get hold of a missing episode is either, number one, you recorded it off the telly many, many moons ago, and you've got it on tape somewhere. So there's just a bunch of tapes that you've got it on. And I think they did get some back in that way, didn't they? There was a story, I think, where they had someone had recorded like all of television for like 15 years or something. He had like 1 billion tapes or something. And then the other way is if you somehow get hold of like one of the original TV tapes that they use back in his studio or whatever. But those things wouldn't have been, that's not just because you've been handed down or you found it, that doesn't mean that ownership automatically is the BBC. It could be, could be anyone. So there's no copyright.
Sure how that worked.
Yeah, there's no copyright
or property of the BBC type thing,
Well, no, not if it's not if you own it. I mean, if you were seen on CCTV breaking into the BBC and taking a tape and then going back home, and then they're like, you've just stole it, they'll be like, oh yeah, you better have that back then. That's a different thing. But if you've been just like, if you found it in a loft somewhere or a garage, then that's, it's on your property. So it's your, it's your thing. So yeah, there is no intellectual property seize back or anything like that. But it's a fascinating subject. Is there any stories that you guys would particularly like to see out of all the missing episodes and stories? Jordan, have you got any particular ones that you're desperate to see? Don't say Galaxy 4 or Marco Polo.
No, I was going to say I'd quite like to see the Smugglers.
Oh, okay.
Being into history and stuff, that's sort of quite fascinating. But yeah, no, I think the Smugglers, something like the Smugglers or the Massacre, I think, because the Massacre's a pretty good story. It's just on audio, unfortunately, everybody sounds the same because everybody was using a sort of stereotypical French accent. So everybody sounds, and it's quite hard to keep track of who is who. But I think they would be quite good to have back.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think The Smugglers is a good one as well. And I don't know if this is known or not. I assume it is. I'm sure this has been in the news. But I just had a look on Wiki at The Smugglers because I wanted to remind myself what the plot was for that. And underneath the synopsis and stuff, it says the serial is currently set to be reconstructed via animation as part of Doctor Who's 60th anniversary. Did you guys know that? I must have missed that.
No, I didn't know that. I knew they'd done the little bit of the colouring of it, recoloured it and everything. But
I heard a rumour, but I wasn't sure if it was confirmed or not.
Well, it's on Wiki. So
it's got to be true.
There we are. Yeah.
I will say one thing though. When Maria and I went to the Riverside event for the Moon Base, chap on the row that I was sat, me and Maria, I can't remember what we were talking about now, and the chap turned around and said, "There is something quite big coming." He said either the first or the second week of November. He said there's something big that they're announcing somewhere along the line. So it might be they found more missing episodes and some people have said, oh, yeah, no, here you go. Because I don't see what it matters because you'll get the tape back anyway. So, the BBC are only going to make a copy of it. It's not as if they're then going to, burn it.
Well, you'd hope so. I hope you get it back. I mean, in good faith.
But yeah, so he said there was something big is going to be announced. Watch it be something stupid now. And it's like,
I just got visions now of going around to some guy's house and he's got the missing tape and he's like, you'll be careful with that, won't you? And the guy from the BFI trips over the front door and smashes on the bar. Oh God. Anyway, not going to tempt fate with that. Sorry if the universe is listening. I don't want that to happen. But okay, so The Smugglers, that'd be that'd be a good one. Yes, Harry, any stories that you'd like to see?
For me, it's a toss-up between The Savages and The Celestial Toymaker. The Celestial Toymaker was one that was particularly difficult to get through when watching the Telesnap reconstruction because a lot of it was I feel like a lot of it would have been very visual, especially the dancing floor episode. There's a lot of visually ridiculous things going on in that story so far as we can tell. And it's quite a shame that episode doesn't exist and the web planet does. I think, Celestial Toymaker would be a really good one. It would be fascinating to see kind of visually how they did all of that stuff. The other 3 episodes, I should say, because obviously the 4th one's still surviving. And The Savages, I was just really surprised by it because I assumed, without having watched it, that it was another historical story, something a bit like 100,000 BC, an unearthly child, like that kind of setting. But no, it's it sets itself up as that, but then you realize it's another planet and it's a human colony, I think it is, and there's some really shady stuff going on, and there's a lot of kind of parallels to real world hierarchy and politics and things like that. I just found it really interesting. It's a really masterful story. So to have that come back would be excellent. But yeah, like Jordan said, The Smugglers, whether we get that as it was or as a animation, I feel like that would greatly improve that story as well, because it's just a shame that, I'm going to sound really entitled and Gen Z here, but I really struggle attention span wise with those Telesnap reconstructions, and I think it's not necessarily that the story isn't that great. It's just the fact that it's a slideshow and an audio track, and it's just not that visually. It's just not overall that stimulating for me. So I'd like to think that if any of these episodes came back, then it would my opinion of the serial would be enhanced as a result of that.
Nice, yeah. And I totally get what you're saying with the telly snaps as well, dude. I think Adam and I have spoken about that many, many times on the podcast in the past, where it can be a bit of a slog to get through them. It's like your boss has played a cruel prank on you, where it's like, I've just found the missing episodes of The Smugglers in the loft, but I've watched them. But for you, you're going to watch a PowerPoint version of the lost story. So here's the audio and some stills, enjoy. I'll be back in a bit.
It's
so
exactly
yeah,
like that.
Totally get it. Yeah.
There's no two ways around it. It's incredibly boring at times. But I'm thankful that we have audio tracks for these episodes. And I just hope that if we don't end up finding any more, we at least get them all animated at some point. Like Mickey Mouse, if he's listening, use some of that Disney money. There's no excuse now.
Yeah, another option is that we can set up some kind of task force that can be like the the undercover arm of Kaleidoscope, maybe. So those guys are like, out in public, shaking hands, smiling, all that stuff. Whereas we're breaking into collectors' homes, getting all the material back, and then just popping it on the doorstep for those guys. There you go. That's another one done. What's next? Just need the name and address, and we're in. I don't condone breaking into it in any shape or form. If we see anything next week or the week after, Doctor Who fans arrested for breaking into private collector's home, we were just messing about. We do not condone that behaviour at all. Well, one of us in a group probably does, but in general.
But we don't condemn it either.
We don't, yes. Yeah.
Right.
Have you guys got anything to do with this over at the Big Blue Box? We can neither confirm nor deny any sort of involvement in this. Because there's a bunch of old videotapes behind you, stack of them. They say, classic Doctor Who missing eps. Are you sure? You've not... No, found them. Anyway, Adam, have you got any missing eps, dude? I think we've probably spoken about this many times, but I've forgotten. Have you got a missing ep that you particularly want to see? Found?
I mean, the thing is, I get quite frustrated when we've only got like 2 episodes and then the rest are animation. Like the completist in me would love to see some of the stories completed that we've got like 1 or 2 episodes of, but then the other 2 are missing. So I agree with Harry. Celestial Toymaker, I'd love to see, episodes 1 to 3 come back so we could see the whole thing. But I would really love to see episode 4 of the 10th Planet turn up, because I enjoy that story, and when I watch it, I always kind of forget that part 4 is missing. I think because we have the regeneration clip, so in my mind, I feel like, oh yeah, we're part 4 is the regeneration, and then when you watch it, it's either telesnaps or animation. It kind of always, even now, kind of throws me out of it. I'm like, oh no, yeah, we don't have episode 4, and it's a really important, episode, the first regeneration, the first Cyberman story. So I would love to see that turn up somewhere along the line, just to complete that, I think, quite a historic, important story. And also I love Hartnell, so any Hartnell that could be returned, I think is great. I know people love Troughton, and so do I, but yeah, I'd just love to see some of the Hartnell stuff come back. I mean, I won't mention Marco Polo because it is the one that we always talk about, but obviously that would be great. Reign of Terror. I mean, there's loads really. And also Pat's first story, I think Power of the Daleks, great that it got animated. They did a good job with it, but it would be just brilliant to actually see the real thing. And the fact that all 6 episodes are missing, I think, is kind of heartbreaking for the first story of the second Doctor. There's quite an important transition, quite an important moment. So I think 10th Planet episode 4, Power of the Daleks, would be amazing to get those back.
Yeah, agree with you on that one. The final ep of the 10th Planet. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I'm going to go off-piste a little bit and say that I would quite like to see the Highlanders, I'd quite like to see Jamie's first interactions with the Doctor.
That is a great shout.
I think that'd be very cool, because, as much as I'd love to see the Dalek story and, some of those big moments and like the Celestial Toymaker and stuff, I'd love to see those. But just, I don't know, I think that would be a sleeper hit, that one. In terms of Lost Steps coming back, I think the Highlanders would be very cool. Because on the surface, it sounds like it's just not boring's the wrong word. Like a sort of run-of-the-mill historical story. But I don't know, I think that'd be some really cool... I think that would be a great character one, rather than a big set piece, kind of typical sci-fi, old school thing. I think that'd be really good, a really good character one for the Doctor and Jamie, yeah. Okay. Missing eps then. So we'll keep our eyes peeled, our ears to the ground. They should do like some kind of hotline. They should do like, like Crime Stoppers back in the day. It's like, if you've seen this person, ring this number. Like if you're around your mate's house and you're tripping over old VHS tapes and one of them says the Highlanders on the edge, or something, ring this number. We'll come and get them. And if you're unaware of how valuable they are, just a cup of tea will do. No money needed. No need to exchange money.
Biscuit.
And a biscuit, yeah.
Yeah. That's the decider. That's the clincher.
Jordan.
I have visions of the Discord server being like, that Netflix documentary that don't F with cats. And you've got all those people that are like on the computer and they're like, right, that vacuum cleaner comes from like England and this comes from here and that comes from... And we'll do it. We will find these missing episodes.
We'll find them. Yeah. Kaleidoscope, you're welcome. Yeah, no worries. The only thing we ask for in return is a couple of custard creams. And that's it.
Yeah. And maybe a jammy dodger.
And a train ticket down to Somerset. Yeah. Return, please. Right.
I'll take a PS5 as well, if that's all right. I'm gutted I won't be able to play the new Spider-Man game. So, yeah.
Oh, Harry. Come round to mine, dude. You can play it on mine. It's all good.
Done deal.
Yeah. Just get the old calendar out. Block out that day, Harry coming up. Because I think you're not too far from me if you said you're in the Midlands then.
I don't know. We'll talk about it when we're off the air. We'll see.
Yeah. Can't give a real address away.
Yeah, of course.
We don't want people coming around to see if we got lost episodes.
Yes, absolutely.
Got to be careful. Right. Okay.
We'll play Spider-Man and then we'll watch the Celestial Toymaker.
Yeah. And watch Galaxy 4.
Yeah.
Gary, you need to ask me about episodes I'd like to see to come back.
Oh, do not do that. Oh.
No.
I'm sorry, Maria. Hold on. I know which one Maria's going to pick. Here we go.
Hang on,
go on, see if you can guess.
Yeah, which one's she going to pick? Let's have a look.
Here we go. She's going to pick.
Yeah.
I reckon she's going to pick. Hold on.
I'm looking through the list as well. Let's see which one.
The Wheel in Space.
Actually, that's not a bad shout, actually, because we don't have enough episodes with Zoe in them, to be fair. I mean, that would be one that would be quite good to come back because there's quite a lot of that missing. I mean, I'm a bit of a history buff, I think, much like Jordan. So I would have actually gone for the Highlanders as well. And just to say, when I went to the Missing Believed Wipes event, they showed the colorized sensor clips it was the Australian sensor clips of the smugglers. And they actually looked fantastic. And it does look quite bloodthirsty. So if any of the smugglers came back, I think I would be quite happy to see that as well. Because I find it really hard to kind of listen to the audio of that. It's quite a difficult one to kind of, for me to listen to and actually make sense of. I think there's a lot of characters in it. So I think, some of these stories are visual stories. And I think that's probably one of them that would benefit from coming back. And the Reign of Terror, if any of that came back, that would be fascinating as well. So I'm going to go for the historicals and the Highlanders as well, because it's Jamie's first story. But Adam kind of stole my thunder a little bit with his choices, because I think the 10th Planet is really important, part 4, and also seeing Troughton's first story as well. It's such a shame we don't have that, because it's his first time in the role, so it would be fascinating to see that. But yeah, so many. Bring them all back. I want them all back. And then I want all the black and white ones colorized as well, so I can see them, what they would have looked like in color. That's my wish list for this year. So if any of that happens, if any episodes come back this year, I'll be absolutely, I don't know what the word is, on cloud nine. I would be, honestly.
We'll get up in the loft then. See what's up there.
Yeah, has anyone got a long enough ladder? I'll try and get up there.
So if it turns out that Maria's got them all, this could be amazing.
Oh, I swear to God, if they turned up in my loft, you guys would be the first to know, and then I would call Paul Benezes and let him know.
How do people feel about the episodes being colorized, by the way? Because that's quite a strong rumor, and I have a feeling for the 60th that might be one of the sort of big inverted brackets announcements that maybe the Unearthly Child is going to be released colorized or something for the 60th. That I've just got a feeling that rumor might come true. So how do you guys feel about black and white being colorized? And I'll just give my quick take. I think there's a charm to black and white. I love black and white, but I'm not against it being colorized. I'd be happy to see it, but I'm thinking about the Lauren Hardys when they colorized those. I mean, I know technology's moved on, but given the choice, even if they were colorized well, I would still watch them in black and white because I feel that's how they should be. But yeah, how do you guys feel about colorizing classic Doctor Who? Because I feel like the BBC think a modern audience won't watch black and white. They need it colorized. And I think, I don't know. I don't think so. I think a lot of people love it just the way it is. But anyway, what do you guys think?
Go on, Harry. You go first because I know you've got views about this. Go on.
I'd absolutely love it. I think it'd be lovely. I think it'd be a nice treat. And yeah, there's something to be said for watching it kind of as it was authentically, because there's a sense of almost having a window into that time almost, any era of Doctor Who, there's you get a feel for the time period and like what was in the cultural zeitgeist at the moment, and that's all very fascinating. But to have something which is sort of reinterpreted in that way, like through colour, and I suppose, if they're doing it manually, I don't exactly know how it would work, but you could, have your own sort of artistic license with that. You could make the colours perhaps brighter than they actually were, like in reality, like if you wanted to, or darker or duller, if that's the vibe you wanted to go for. So I think that would be really interesting. I wouldn't count on them sort of colorizing every single episode because that would be a very long, arduous process. And to be honest, it's long and arduous enough for them to, complete these Blu-ray box sets for every season of the classic series. So, I'd be more than happy with just that. Yeah, I think it would be a nice treat to do it for like one or two stories, maybe like some of the more significant ones, like An Unearthly Child, which I think was the one that was rumoured to be colorised, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd love it. I think it'd be a treat.
Maria?
Well, I've seen some really good versions of colorised episodes of the black and white episodes on YouTube. So they look really good, whereas obviously some of the versions that maybe they've done over the years have kind of looked out of place. So I don't have an issue with it. I think it would really work with some of the modern day stories that are kind of set in the 1960s. So I'm thinking of something like maybe the War Machines, or maybe what's the one, the Faceless Ones, something like that that's kind of set in the modern day. I think would work really well. But yeah, I don't have any objection to it. I'd rather have colorized episodes than having animation, if I'm honest. I mean, as much as I enjoy the animations, there's no substitute really for a live action episode. And if it's colorized, that's fine. It's something different. We've still got the black and white version as well. So yeah, I don't have an issue with it really.
Nice. Any thoughts, Jordan?
I think as an experiment, I'd be quite happy to see some stories. I think I'm sort of like Adam. I would rather sort of watch them in black and white. because I think those sort of worlds, to me, they are black and white. But I think if they were going to put it on the telly, or sort of wherever they were going to do with it, I'd watch it. I'd give it a go. But I think I would sort of be like, nah, black and white. It's a bit like the animations when they give you the options. Do you want to watch it in color or black and white? I'll watch it in black and white because that is the era. It feels weird seeing it in color. But I would watch it in color, as an experiment. And it'd be nice to have the option to, do you want to watch them in color?
Yeah, I think that's my view on it as well. I think as long as you offer people the option and what they prefer, so as long as you have the original black and white up there alongside any sort of future colorizations, then it's all good. I think when you restrict people from watching what they prefer, then that gets a little bit, bit of a grey area there. But I don't know, as long as you've got the choice.
I'd be very annoyed if I logged on to Disney Plus in a couple of years' time and I, was trying to watch the Daleks. And they only had the colour version. I'm like, no, I want to watch it in black and white. I'd want to watch it in black and white.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that would be where I'd have to draw the line. But
because that's the sort of thing I can see happening, is that like Disney Plus would think, oh, we don't want the black and white ones because no one's going to watch them. We might, only offer colour. But obviously, as Stock 2 fans, we'd buy the Blu-ray, so we'd have both, of course. Maria's also she's slightly won me over there, actually, because the thought of seeing 60s, the War Machines in colour actually does appeal to me, actually. I'm kind of not very happy with myself for saying that, but it does. I think there is definitely a reason to do it, and I would love to see certain episodes colorized, but like you said, as long as we always have the choice, which we pretty much would. And it's interesting, actually, because just hearing Jordan talking about the animations there just made me think I'm being a bit hypocritical, because whenever I watch the animations, I do always watch them in color, which, again, I'm giving myself a bit of a slap on the wrist there, but I do actually enjoy the animations in color. So maybe I'm not as against it as I thought I was.
The plan is obviously just to watch everything twice.
Yes, true. Yeah.
And decide afterwards. Yeah. No worries.
No worries.
Okie dokie. Fascinating subject, though, the old missing episodes. I think we can chat about this for another hour or so, but we are going to stick a pin in it there. That has been the August Roundtable. Thank you for listening to another roundtable for August. We've just about got it in there on the last day. Not that we're not organised or anything. Not going to say that. Use those words, but yeah, that was August Roundtable. Thank you very much, Jordan. It's been good to have you as always, dude.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. I hope I don't sound too tiddly. I managed to get through that whole fishbowl of gin again, so... It's fine. It loosens the tongue, doesn't it? It's fine.
Yeah, takes the edge off. It's all good. Yeah. Harry, thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you, Gary. Yes, it's been a lot of fun. And it's been also wonderful to have you and Adam back together for the first time in a few months. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's all right, I suppose. Yeah, he's all right. Old bugger lugs. Yeah, it's been good, actually, dude. Thank you very much. Ad's co-host, Geeks.
Oh, it's been great to catch up with you guys and be back behind the mic again. And I think we've got some very exciting times ahead. So may this be the first of many.
Indeedy.
Up to the 60th, yeah.
Indeedy, yes. Maria has sodded off.
She couldn't wait to leave.
Yeah, she's either disconnected herself or... Oh, no, here she is. She's just in time to say the goodbye in the Aaaaaaaallons-y. So while Maria's joining, make sure you follow and listening to this podcast wherever you get your podcast. Just sort of search for the Big Blue Box. And at the moment, we're doing monthly up to the roundtable, so you won't miss any of those. And we're going to hop on in November for the regular reviews. So until then, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
My name's Jordan.
My name's Harry.
And remember...